Hello, good people. Welcome to our show. Bad people, welcome to our show. Anyone who wanna learn more about marketing, welcome. Because today we have very important topic about marketing myths. We are going to bust in some myths, to destroy them and lead you in the right direction. I'm so excited to discuss this topic with Lori. Highby, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. Looking forward to learn more. I know how it's important to find the right strategy, to use modern methods and think more about human being than satisfying algorithms, many other things. Because I remember when I started my digital journey, that was 2008, and I tried to satisfy algorithms. I didn't care about human being because I didn't know other methods
Yeah.
at the time. And that worked well. We had a team of writers who wrote about anything. I gave them topics to write, like about finance, weight loss, anything. They wrote. Google ranked. Social media provided high engagement. Today, it's impossible because uh, we need to cooperate with experts and think more about human being. Lori, before we start, just tell more about yourself, experience, background, and anything that can help our listeners to learn more about you.
Sure. So Keystone Click is my company. We are a strategic digital marketing agency. I started it in 2008. So this year we celebrated 15 years. Woohoo! Gotta celebrate that one. Big milestone. Um, when I put the emphasis on strategic, that's really important because what we do is we help our clients build brand awareness and generate leads online, and we do that by first conducting research. So, like you were talking about a little bit, you were just kind of writing stuff just to write stuff for the algorithms, but our research focuses heavily on helping our clients better understand the customer so that you can create content that's going to connect and resonate with them and then position that content in the digital ecosystem in the right spot where that ideal customer is hanging out. So we put a lot of emphasis on research to build a strategic plan. And then we support the full implementation of that plan, everything from websites, social media, paid ads, email, all that fun stuff in the digital ecosystem. So before I started Keystone Click, I worked at two other marketing agencies doing some digital stuff before all those buzzwords like SEO, PPC were a thing. And then I actually dabbled in the traditional space a little bit, doing some billboards and print and radio, and that was kind of fun. But I really found that digital is just fascinating. It's constantly changing. It's fast moving. So that's really where my passion is.
Nice, nice, awesome. I think without passion, it's it's better to find something else, and you remind me about passion. 5 years ago, I started one project because we found a marketing gap, and I got the feeling that I can earn all money online, but after investing 3 years, a lot of resources. I hired a big team. Uh, but at that time, I hated Monday, loved Friday. And after 3 years, I quit. I quit and told myself, I will never, never, never will take any project because of money. If you have no passion, it's better to leave it, because you can't overwork others. You can't. You need to love what you do. If you love what you do,
100%.
yeah, you can work at any time, in Saturday, in Sunday, in wartime, at any place because you love it. Larry,
Mhm.
you mentioned about this digital ecosystem, online ecosystem. Can you tell more about that? It's you started in 2008. I did it in this time as well, but today I can't use any methods from 2008 because all companies, all people are online. It's hard to compete with them. Tell how to take your part in this ecosystem.
So, actually, when I started the company, we only did website design and development,
Mhm.
right? So we were just doing websites, and people would come to me and say, "Hey, how do I get found on Google or this Facebook thing? What should I do with it? Should I be on it for my business? I don't know." And I would just tell them what to do, And then they would say, well, can you do it for me? So that's where we kind of evolved to being a full digital marketing agency. But yeah, it's constantly changing. So it's really important is to educate yourselves and continue to educate others. And I find one of the best ways to learn about the evolving technology is to teach other people about that technology that's happening. So right now, AI is what it's all about, right? So
Yeah.
I have a number of speaking engagements coming up to talk about AI, and the best way that I'm going to be able to be confident in learning it is having a plan to reteach it to somebody else.
Mhm. Yeah, nice, nice. You mentioned about lead generation. Can you tell more about that? How to find topics that will provide leads? The main reason why I'm asking about that, because I often see when webmasters chase high volume. For example, if I take the keyword SEO, I need to compete with Moz, Google itself, Ahrefs, Neil Patel, big companies that have a lot of resources,
Mm-hmm.
companies that deserve these positions. And it's the same if I'm going to create my iPhone, to compete with Apple.
Yeah,
Probably not like this, but similar.
yeah.
uh, and even if I have this keyword, it doesn't mean that I can sell my products because it's not SEO services or something similar. It's not related to SEO. It's like top of the funnel. So can you tell how to find topics that will bring traffic that will sell in the end?
Yeah, absolutely. So, first, there's two things that I want to say about this. First and foremost, it's very important to understand the customer journey. So, the
Mhm.
customer journey isn't just I'm ready to buy today. The customer journey has a lot of activity that happens before they're interested in even having that conversation with you. So, you have to look at that initial pain that someone's having, and that pain is going to trigger them to do any sort of research online around the solution that it is. So for SEO, for example, it might be how do I get more traffic to my website? Or why is no one filling out my contact form? Or why is no one calling us? So it's what is that initial pain that someone is experiencing, and how are they searching for those potential solutions to solve that problem? Now, most people are going to want to solve that problem themselves. So you want to educate them on some of the options that are available to solve that problem. Here, if you want to do it yourself, this is how you can do it. If you maybe need to hire someone or buy a new machine, here's an option here. Or you can outsource that and partner with a potential vendor to help you solve that problem. And additional components of that customer journey are what proof do you have that you can actually do it as that strategic partner or vendor, and what kind of testimonials are out there about you. So it's really important to have positive a reputation online, great testimonials, and make sure that other people are advocating for your brand. But you also have to make sure it's really easy for that ideal customer that you have to know that this is the next step to take if they're interested in potentially doing business from you, which is filling out your form from a lead generation perspective. Now, one of the things that I see a lot of companies making a big mistake with is they go straight for lead gen when they're starting to do any sort of digital marketing. It's very important, especially on the B2B side of things, and even on the consumer side of things, is to start with brand awareness first, because people will more than likely do business with brands that they trust. So you're not going to generate a bunch of leads immediately if you don't have any sort of brand awareness. So you have to start with a strategic brand awareness campaign. And that's where you're simply doing that high value educational type information. And then you convert them once you've established trust with that potential client to be to the lead gen funnel. Now, what type of information do you focus on when you create content? That's where you do the research and you have conversations with your ideal customer and listen to the words that they are saying, because within your own industry, you've got jargon, you've got words that you use every single day, but that ideal customer may not speak that same language that you're speaking and have a different way of conveying the message of the pain that they're experiencing. So the better that you're creating content that connects and resonates with them, meaning you're speaking in their language and it's easy for them to understand that you understand their problem and are ultimately a solution, the faster you're going to put them through that brand awareness to lead generation funnel.
Nice, valuable. Love it, love it. You remind me the quote that the era of lazy marketers is gone. That because you need to learn customers, and many companies ignore it. They usually learn competitors. And I remember Jeff Bezos said about that Amazon is obsessed about customers, but many companies are obsessed because of competitors. And I often get this request: analyze my competitors, steal their traffic, sales. I want to get them. No, it doesn't work like this. You need to find your unique selling proposition, your strong side, and go ahead with that. Can you tell about finding the right strategy? What kind of tools do you use to find the right strategy? And even more, I tell how to prioritize topics. For example, now I usually see when someone can share a list of keywords, like plus 100k keywords, and tell me, oh, okay, I wanna get all of them. Why you need to have all of them? Choose priorities. Less, but quality is key. So your tips, how to find the right topics and how to prioritize where you start first, second, third, and go on.
Yeah, that's a great question. So some of that is going to be listening to the like our clients. We'll listen to the clients. What are the most important areas of their business that they want to be focusing on and generating new business for? And then we do a lot of listening. So we'll do some social listening. We'll look at, we'll have the conversations with the customer. Again, looking at what are those phrases that they're saying, the language that they're saying. And then we'll move into leveraging the technology. So, there's a ton of tools out there. We use SEMrush a lot of times. We'll play with the Google Ads platforms. I'm a fan of Answer the Public. That's a great one too. Just get some inspiration for some phrases and messaging. And you mentioned the competition a little bit. It's not a bad thing to look at the competition because you can get some good inspiration. But also what I like about looking at the competition is you can identify what they're not doing. Which makes it really easy to go, oh, wow, this is a phrase that people are talking about, but no one is really focusing on that. That's where I'm going to start my strategy and really paying attention to, hey, a lot of people are talking about it. No competition here. That's my focus. So, there's a number of different angles that kind of tie into how you put a tactical plan together for this. But I always say high search volume, low competition, and that's kind of how you prioritize that.
Nice, awesome, valuable. Larry, list your loving myths that you can see today that people can still use these methods and destroy them, smash past anything,
Any myths? Let's see.
Myths, misconception, myths,
Yeah, well, I mean, the easy one is I always say people think like if you build a website, they will come. But I mean, that's just in the movies, right? You have to market, you have to promote, especially when there's crazy economic times. That's the most important time to keep your brand alive and well so that when times are thriving, your brand is top of mind. I see when there is some sort of economic downturn that marketing tends to be the first area that gets their budgeted cut. And that typically is a big mistake. And there's a ton of data and history that says the brands that continue to market during economic downturn are the brands that succeed and thrive when things are back to normal.
Yeah, nice. You mentioned about promotion. It's interesting. For example, Forbes doesn't need to promote any content because Forbes has a loyal audience, big audience, many great websites, even search engine journal. Neil Patel shares that he didn't use link building. He used before, but when he got loyal audience, he stopped doing this and creating more content. I spoke with a few great webmasters who told me they don't use link building because of having this audience and pay attention to create high quality content. And I know some webmasters can start from almost scratch, but just share content on social media, but don't use link building. And they explain about that. It might help in the beginning, but when you spend all the resources to create more high quality content, it can bring results. But it doesn't mean they don't use anything. They promote on social media, I mean, like in newsletter. So tell your thoughts about link building and any other successful methods that can bring results.
Yeah, so link building is always an interesting topic because I would say, let's see, 10, 15, 20 years ago, it was way more spammy of an approach where you would pay for links, and that wasn't really a good practice at all. And the search engines caught on to that fairly quickly. Link building, you have to be very strategic about where you're getting the backlinks from, because you want to make sure they are indeed quality backlinks. We don't put a lot of emphasis on the link building campaign. It might be a tactic depending on the positioning of your competition and the phrase that you're trying to target. But I would say more emphasis should be on making sure your website is built from a technically sound standpoint, so it's easy for the search engines to find it. And that you are writing high quality content and you're making it easy for other people to find it by sharing it on social media. Now, there is nothing wrong with getting content published on sites such as Forbes, a high quality site. And then if you have a link from a very high reputable site going back to your site, that is going to help your search engine rankings. But I personally don't put a lot of emphasis on that. I put more emphasis on the quality of the content that you ultimately own.
Let's talk about quality of content. It's interesting that without high quality content, it's hard. I think almost impossible to get results. I still get some case studies that content was written by AI, provides great results, but in most cases, nobody shares these URLs where you can check, how AI can do it. But anyway, let's talk about high quality content. If I write any article, I have the feeling this piece of content is art, because I'm, I can't criticize myself. I can't estimate in the right way. I'm biased with that. Can you tell what high quality means? You mentioned you need to create high quality content, but what does it mean? Because I still get the question, please estimate the quality. It's subjective. I can estimate the quality in SEO, in marketing. But if you ask me about weight loss, I can't. If you ask me about medicine, I can't. About trading, I have no idea how to check it. So, for example, if you have new clients, how you can estimate the quality of content?
Yeah, great question. I love this question. So I'm going to go back to the conversation around the customer journey and really understanding the different pains that customer is experiencing, and think about the searches that they're typing into Google and the search engines to help solve that problem. If you're able to educate on that challenge that they're facing and adding value to their life and their journey from whatever challenge that they're experiencing, that's considered high quality. High quality is also on how the content is structured. So you don't want just one really heavy, long paragraph. You want to make it easy for someone to read. And that's why using heading tags and headers and bolding text and lists and chunking your content is going to make it easy for someone to read, which likely is going to make it easier for someone to share that. So the quality of the content is going to help solve a problem, but also make it an easy experience for them to digest that information as well.
Digest, awesome part. You remind me of a book from Joe Sugarman. He wrote this book Before Digital. And when I read this book, I can have the feeling this book was written for digital, because the foundation is the same. Nothing changed. Technologies change. Methods of consuming content change, but human psychology is the same, And he mentioned how to retain the audience and how users can digest your content. and he explained how it's important to retain readers until the end. We have bounce rate high at any website content, plus 50% of people leave content. It's the same on YouTube, on TikTok. On YouTube, I remember 80% of users leave in the first 20 seconds. Because it's hard to consume some content, digest this content. So tell your methods how to retain users as much as possible. I mean, or longer as possible.
Say that again. I didn't fully
I mean,
understand.
like how to retain, how to give a strong reason to consume your content, and how to keep them until the end.
Yeah. I mean, you have to continue. Once you start building that audience, you have to be consistent with creating content. If you have a following and an audience and you're building that trust, the last thing you want to do is stop providing value, because you can't just decide, oh, I'm going to stop for 6 months and then restart up again. You've lost the trust of that audience. As long as you're continuing to create valuable, digestible content, your audience is going to continue to listen and follow and likely share, and therefore your audience will continue to grow.
Lori, I want to ask about your strong side. It's interesting, when I spoke with Rand Fishkin, Neil Patel, Jeff Coyle, Lily Ray, many great experts, all of them have their strong sides. Tell about your strong side. Why you are better than many other million marketers that we have online?
Oh, that's a weird one to answer, like that I'm talking about myself. But what I guess there's a couple of things that I like to say. One, I'm middle brained. I'm not just creative and I'm not just analytical. I love putting those worlds together and really understanding how creativity drives conversion. I think that's a really important part of a strong marketer. The other thing is education is just in my core. And in digital marketing, the world changes fast. I love learning new things and I love teaching it to others and making sure that they're confident in making the business decisions that they're making based on the information that I'm educating them on. So I want people to make intelligent business decisions and not just make assumptions. So I would say, and the third thing is, I will tell you exactly how I feel. If I disagree with a positioning, I'm not afraid to step back and let you know that I think that's a mistake, or I'll tell you why I wholeheartedly believe in the path that I'm recommending you pursue.
Yeah, and I never disagree with marketers, because if it works for someone, why not? You can use it, Yeah, and I think some marketers can get results with something that I never use. It's not because I can't use it, because it's not my strong side, And Lori, you mentioned you love teaching. Can you tell how you teach others, how you share your content, and where we can follow you to learn more about you?
Yeah. So I taught at the local university for a little while. I taught B2B sales and marketing and principles of marketing. I haven't done that ever since COVID, because ironically, I don't like teaching virtually. But I actually now teach agency employees, account managers, how to be better at their job through the Agency Management Institute. And from a content creation standpoint, blogs, very active on LinkedIn. Just look for Lori Highby. I post daily information. And I've got 2 podcasts and we've got a newsletter. So there's a lot of different ways. KeystoneClick.com. Just look for Lori Highby. Those are the best channels where you're going to be seeing and hearing me teach and educate and share what I learn and know.
Nice. Awesome. Guys, you can find all links in the description, if you want to follow Lori, because I follow. I recommend to follow too, to listen to this awesome podcast, because you can get a lot more value. And Lori, I want to ask about mistakes. In my life, I made a lot of mistakes. Some of them terrible mistakes. you know, uh, I I lost a few businesses because of mistakes. Okay, not businesses, projects. But sometimes I don't know another way how to go ahead without doing mistakes. Because if you start something new, we usually find best practices, generic strategies, can do them, fail. And for example, I failed with PR campaigns. I wrote a bunch of press releases. I don't remember exactly the number, like a lot of press releases. I pitched all of them and I got zero mentions, zero links, but I learned how it works. Then I hired specialists who can write great press releases. I hired specialists who can pitch them. And to have this mix, we got mentioned on CNN, Forbes, Business Insider, because of having this process. But I can't hire specialists without make my hands dirty. I need to try it, to learn it. So tell about common mistakes that marketers can avoid from your experience and your tips how to find another way.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Such a fun one. I think one of the biggest mistakes that I see making is not paying attention to building your email list. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
your email list, I think a lot of people are annoyed with email, myself included. I get way too many emails. However, it is probably one of your most valuable digital assets that you can have with your business for a couple of reasons. One, you control that, you own it. You don't own your Facebook followers, your YouTube followers, your TikTok followers. We've already seen it before where those channels have control and they can do whatever they want with that. So the goal of those channels is to drive them to your website to get them to sign up for your email list. Two, you can control the message and the frequency at which it is going into someone's inbox. Excuse me. Um, Again, like social media channels, you don't necessarily have control. Like Facebook, only 2 or 3% of the people actually will see your post unless you put some dollars behind it. So you want to make sure that you're leveraging email from a communication standpoint. You can use your email lists to, upload to social media channels for advertising purposes, and create lookalike audiences. So it's going to capture the demographic information of those that are on your list, and you're able to then expand your marketing reach with some paid advertising. And the other thing that's probably the strongest valuable asset, if you are ever looking to sell your business, your email list will be factored into the value of your business as long as it's a warm, active list with quality contacts and an engaged community. So I would say that's probably one of the biggest mistakes that I see marketers making is not putting the time and energy into building their email list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember Ren Fishkin said on my event about that he can change 10 followers on social media to one subscriber on email list
Mm-hmm.
because you can own your list, you can handle the process, but social media can do whatever they want. So even if you have a million followers, it doesn't mean that you can get a million views or impressions. Yeah, it depends on social media. They change algorithms, but email is the same. So you can
Yeah.
this channel, and email still shows great results. Lori, what I found that we usually get great results with clients who understand what we do. For example, if we help with SEO, then we get high results with clients who understand SEO. They know why we need to create high quality content, why it's important to think more about traffic value than getting more traffic, many different insights. If clients don't understand, usually do what you do, I mean, like to teach them, tell, okay, take my course, learn from Lily Ray, Jeff Coyle, go to YouTube, go to Google, subscribe to podcasts, just learn, get the basic how it works. Then we can go ahead. Let's imagine it's your first day in marketing. Forget about your experience. You know nothing. You started only today. What will you do today if you need to learn from scratch?
Well, I would probably actually go to Google and just type in how do I learn marketing? right? I mean, that's the challenge that I'm facing. But if I've got the platforms, I would like HubSpot and SEMrush and Ahrefs, Moz. They have amazing information and content on those websites. I'd identify who are the major influencers in the industry and start following them on social media and subscribe to their newsletters. So I'm getting constantly updated on what they're doing and following the trends. So I like following multiple folks to see if there's any trends that are happening in the topics that they're sharing across the different influencers.
Yeah, awesome. And I recommend to follow Lori, one more influencer to learn more. And my final question about the future. I want to ask you, take your crystal ball and let us know what kind of future will be in your vision, because my crystal ball doesn't work. I tried a few times. I bought crypto and I felt crypto will go up, but it went down. Anyway, I don't put all eggs in one basket. I'm okay to lose some money. It's gambling game. But I know it's important to adapt fast. That's why it's better to know what kind of future will be. Your prediction about the future.
Well, AI, which is already kind of here, is definitely, it's going to change. It's going to change the game. Basically, if anyone has a job that's sitting at a computer all day, every day, most of the day, AI is going to be changing that. So the future is going to be learning how to leverage AI to create efficiencies. But also, I very much hope and believe that it's going to allow for more human time and human relationships, because we're leveraging technology from an efficiency standpoint, because I think so many of us are just like stuck to our computers right now, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I very much believe AI is changing the way we conduct business, and it's going to be less emphasis on content and more emphasis on strategy and the data of the output of the implementation of that strategy.
Yeah, Jeff Cole said on my podcast, he's co-founder of Market Muse, that in the future we will have three companies. The first company will develop AI, the second company will implement AI, and the third company will be obsolete. Who can leave the trade? So yeah, that's why it's important to adapt, to learn. If you can't develop, then implement. We have this opportunity. That's great that AI is acceptable to anyone today. Lori, it's a big pleasure to get in my show, to learn from you. Tell the best way how to keep learning from you, how to reach out to you, how to subscribe to all your podcasts.
Yeah, podcast Social Capital. It's a great one. I've interviewed people globally on the topic of networking and marketing. A broadcast for manufacturers is the other podcast. It's myself and two other broads, the ladies. We talk broadly about the topic of manufacturing. As I mentioned before, LinkedIn is probably going to be the best channel that you can see me on. I'm pretty active on there, posting daily information, resources, podcast, events I'm going to be at. And just look for Lori Highby, and KeystoneClick.com is my company. So check it out, connect, message me on LinkedIn.
Nice. Guys, you can find all links in the description below. Listen us on Apple, Google, Spotify. Thanks again for the time. Love it. So valuable. I recommend to anyone to follow Lori, because you can see a lot of value. Okay, guys, love you. See you.